Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you to our Global Party 2017, Healing from the Inside Out. And I have our beautiful, extraordinary, fun guest, Risaria, who's going to be talking about laughter is the best medicine. And you are in for a real treat. Now, as we were been kicking off everything with a song, this is not a funny song. But this is a song that will lift you right up. So hang tight, and here we go. Just brought me back into presence. That was wonderful. Just dancing and moving sometimes just shakes off everything. Ready to go. So you're turning away, Risaria, from behind, as the song said, and you're moving forward into this new realm of comedy.
Yes. It was an inspiration, really, because I've been writing for some years and I love comedy. And one way I healed myself was by starting to watch comedy every day, because I realized I'd been watching a lot of crime and crime thrillers, and I could feel what they were doing to me.
Right.
I could feel what they were doing to my energy. And I saw a program that talked about making yourself laugh each day. And, you know, laughter yoga has developed since then, and things like this. And when I was doing my radio show, I would have people on to talk about their passion and appreciation, and we'd have a laugh. Because when you're focusing on what you want in life rather than what you don't want, it gives you a completely different energy.
Absolutely.
And I tend to, somebody said to me, and it just seems to be flowing, because I decided I would go to Edinburgh to the Fringe Festival, and so I'm going there at the end of August. And then my local pub, which is converting into a hotel, said they're having a festival and they've booked me. I did my first gig 2 weeks ago when my daughter was over from the States, and the timing was real synchronicity. It was the afternoon she arrived. I did it that evening, so both her and my son were there, which was wonderful. And they said to me, my niece said, I'll never look at dandelions in the same way again. And when we did our introduction to each other, you said to me, tell me a joke. And I have a number of one-liners, but that just disappeared. And I talked to you about dandelions, and I could see your face. And then you said, have you seen the application form? And I said, no. And there you are in a field of dandelion. Dandelion as your logo for this. I just thought, I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it is when I find, and you're finding too, and others, I'm sure, but when you surrender to really your bliss, your joy, that inner vibration that is with us all, we were born with it. We've just, in some cases, forgotten. But the analogy you use about watching crime shows is great, because everything affects our energy. So you're being this high vibration of joy now with laughter. We are very blessed to get to hear some of your material. So it is really a new beginning for you, but in a different, where some would think, because you and I are a little older, that it's in more of the latter part of our life, but this is really where we really start to thrive, don't you think?
I think so. I think this is our golden age.
Mm-hmm.
And because we are, I have the freedom to do whatever I choose. Mm-hmm. My children are adults now, and it may surprise and shock them. My son said, "You're doing comedy? Where did that come from?" And he said, "You go to Edinburgh Festival? Don't you need to?" And then he stopped himself and he said, "No," he said, we have a phrase here, shy Ben's getting out, which is shy children don't get anything. You need to ask or just step up. And this is what I'm doing. And I wrote about I was writing a sketch a day in the first week. Mm-hmm. And I just keep adding to it. And I've had one stand-up gig. I've had one online, I told some jokes in an online meeting. Mm-hmm. And then I've suddenly got this global audience. And somebody said, "What do you talk about?" And I said, "I just talk about what I'm doing, mm-hmm. the everyday things I'm doing." It's like at the moment, I moved here recently, and my brother didn't want me to choose this house. I had the choice of 3 houses. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Oh, but the other one is totally decorated." And he's just spent the last 5 years redoing his home. He's made a wonderful job of it. Mm-hmm. And he was still finishing off decorating it. And he'd been decorating my mother's new place. And he said, and I said, "No, I don't want you to." I said, "But this place, from the kitchen, I have a view of the sea. I can see the harbour, I can see the sea, I can see Tynemouth Priory, which is a wonderful silhouette on the cliff top. Mm-hmm. And I can see on a clear day St Mary's Lighthouse." And I said, "That to me is priceless." And he said, "But you've got the decorating to do." And I said, "Yeah, so?" And elsewhere, I've had a time scale, like I've been moving into a room in a communal house. So I had a week to do it and just went, woo, that's it. Right. But here, I can please myself, and I have a bedroom and I have a living room, and I have the place to myself. I have my own kitchen and bathroom. Right. And so I was really struggling to strip the wallpaper. And I could feel it, because it was even when I was taking it off, it was coming away from the backing. Right. So I put on a Sanskrit mantra with Diva Primal. Okay. And suddenly, it all came off together. And I was able to take an entire strip of wallpaper off. And I was like, that's the way to do it. And it was great. And I realized in linear time, it was the same amount of time, but the joy factor was astronomical. And so I've started having a lot of fun with it. And even I'm doing the floor, and I want to have it like when I was in Denmark, the floors there, I love the way the Norwegians do their floors, the way they sand them and then they stain them white. They oil them. Yeah. And I really didn't want to sand with a big machine. Mm-hmm. I've done that before, and it's hard work, and I hadn't enjoyed it. And I hadn't the budget to get someone in. And then I suddenly was researching online, and I found all these stories. And one guy says, nobody's mentioned the traditional way of doing it by hand. holy stoning.
Holy stoning.
Holy stoning.
Like, is it holy, like Holy, holy?
Yes. And it's what the sailors used to do on the onboard deck.
Blessing their boat, I'm sure.
Yeah, they used to, and I even have some props. These aren't what the sailors would use. They seem to have smaller, more compact squares. And coincidentally, my daughter's boyfriend is Canadian.
Okay.
When I talked to them about holy stoning, he said, oh yeah, he worked in a maritime museum in Canada. And he said, the big one is called a Bible. So this is my Bible.
Oh, there you go.
This beautiful piece of sandstone. And this little one is my prayer book for getting in the corners.
Beautiful.
And I'm having fun with it. It is hard work, but I realized, of course, sandstone is where the idea for sandpapers come from.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be a punishment a discipline for the sailors.
Right.
In fact, there were in Britain at one point they were made to do it twice a day, morning and evening.
Mm-hmm.
But then it found it wasn't good for the health. It was exhausting them because they're using cold seawater and sandstone to scrub the decks.
Right.
And it was called holy stoning because they did it on their knees. And later they did it standing up because there's pictures of them doing it standing up with a stick in the stone. And I thought, yeah, but for me, it's not a discipline or a punishment. In fact, it's really good for building your core strength.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a gym exercise.
And
so I've been doing bits of that.
well, see, from my standpoint, because I've done a lot with Feng Shui for years, for decades, I guess. And we have someone actually going to be talking about healing with Feng Shui, but your house represents your state of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, you've picked one and it's like you're removing and you're bringing up all the old, right? You're getting rid of the old because you're stepping out now.
Yeah.
In this whole new sense of joy, and you're finding very lovely ways to bring joy into it as you're doing it. And I think if anybody got a hot tip from that, regardless of the joy aspect in renovating, is renovating can be joyful if you are just, being guided, like you're so being guided in your life. This is incredible.
Yeah, each step I'm doing is inspired. And my brother gave me a really great tip. One of my brothers, he said, because I was a bit overwhelmed by the walls because they were in such a state. Mm-hmm. And one brother said, get them to skim it, because I'm in a council house. And they said, no, we don't do cosmetic work. And I thought, okay. And my other brother said, if you paint it first, put a coat of paint on, then you'll see what needs doing. Because it looked like there were loads of holes and things. And there were lots of different colors and layers and it's transformed it. And it still needs another coat of paint, but I decided to do the floor next because I can live with this now. I'm enjoying watching the process. And it's transformed it from a smoker's house to a clean, pleasant smelling, light-filled room. And I'm also, the other thing I've come across is locally we have a lot of sea glass.
Yes.
Do you have sea glass?
Yes. Actually, I would have known. I picked up a piece of glass that had Pepsi Cola that was written. I was thinking I have to do a video because the edges are so soft and how long that had been in the ocean before it's turned into sea glass. But that's how it begins.
Yeah. And for me, this I decided that I wanted to fill the big gaps in the floorboards with sea glass so I can get the light reflecting off them. And it means I'm using the local materials. In fact, my prayer book and my Bible are now going to be part of my hearth because I have a sort of picture wall fire. The hearth is concrete. And I was thinking, you know, I'm actually quite liking this, the contrast of the stone and the concrete, and bringing in the sea glass just makes it feel so different. And I was looking at where's the best place locally to get sea glass.
Mm-hmm.
And on an American website, they mention a tiny little village down, you know, sort of half an hour from me. And it's because there used to be a big glass factory there.
Ah.
And so, you know, you go down there and the kids and everybody, when the tide goes out, everybody's collecting sea glass. Yeah. And so what was a rubbish dump, people are now, these are like gems for them.
Well, that's where when I saw it, I'll do a video on the Pepsi one, because, you know, our oceans are so polluted now with plastic, right? And we went from glass to plastic. But if we have the glass is being reformed, you know, into this beauty that we're all grabbing and using, but the plastic, the time has come, everybody. There is going to be reformation with plastic, but we, you know, just like the sea glass, but it hasn't come yet, because someone will find joy in doing it.
Yeah, well, there's an exhibition on in my local, in what used to be the Customs House, of a woman who has used discarded plastic. Mm-hmm. And she's woven it. So she's creating rugs and things like this.
Yeah, I think that that's the point of this life now, is it's to look at what you have and what inspires you to transform it. Just like you're transforming your house, you're transforming your life. It is about transforming in here, healing from the inside out, because as we do that, we are transforming the world.
Yes, exactly.
It's so simple.
And it's the thing is, it's when you're in the energy of nothing, everything's perfect, nothing needs fixing. Right. You see the humor in it, because you step back from it and you see the humor and you see the joy in it. Once you're coming from a place of love. And I was talking to a friend this morning about this, and I'd helped her to step back from a situation that she usually goes into drama with. Mm-hmm. And I said, would you rather be right, or would you rather be happy? Yeah. Well, this is a Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks.
Right, exactly.
Phrase. And I often say, would I rather be right, or would I rather be happy? And I'd much rather be happy. Exactly. I'd much rather be happy. And so this is why I'm finding fun ways of working with my home and my life. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it shows. I'm like, I can feel your energy, because I'm just loosening up as you're talking.
Yeah. And the other song I was singing, and I started singing it as I was doing the wallpaper with the Sanskrit mantra, was A Spoonful of Sugar. And it was just a spoon. I'd start off, just a spoonful of sugar helps the wallpaper come down, the wallpaper come down, the wallpaper come down, just a quick Sanskrit mantra helps the wallpaper come down in the most delightful way.
That is beautiful. That is the top 10 hit. Everybody get your copy. You heard it first here.
Yeah, and it's this thing, I think sometimes people, I like to watch what words I'm using. Yes. And see if I can get a better feeling word.
Yes.
But in a fun way, because I think sometimes people can take NLP too seriously. I've not trained in NLP, but I'm very much, let's find the word that works best in this situation. And someone said to me, which room do you need the work doing in? Is it your lounge? And I went, lounge? Lounge? I thought, I've always thought that's a bit of a posh word. You know, I think of this as my living room. I thought, but I don't want to call it a sitting room. That sounds a bit stagnant, you know. Mm-hmm. But lounge, I can feel, I feel like Eartha Kitt. I could see myself in a leopard skin onesie, lounging on my sofa, and I'm typing on my wireless keyboard effortlessly. And just one word can spark a whole sequence up in you.
And I mean, that's the same thing as once you start to be in joy, it can be contagious. And so if I just continue to laugh for the rest of the whole thing, then you just know. It does happen to me fairly regularly that my children will look at me, or my young adults now, and they'll go, Mom. And I'll be like, just can't stop. So these inspirations are constant for you.
Yes. And it's like, when I was in a communal house, you just reminded me, because they tended to go out drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind an occasional drink, but I'm not into doing it as a habit.
Right.
And I found that's it. I like to be more present in the moment. And one night I said, "Oh, do you fancy going down to the pub?" And I can't remember if it was a birthday or anything, but I just said yes. And we got there. And we were sitting, and I was just so full of joy. I just started laughing. And they just looked at me because you only had one sip. And I said, "Oh, I don't need alcohol."
No.
I'm just sitting here with some great people with a view of the city, because it's all laid out in front of you, that particular pub. And laughter is just so contagious. And it just lifts your vibe.
Yeah. And wouldn't we rather feed that into the world when you say laughter is contagious, right?
Yes.
That we are putting that all over the media. Laughter is contagious, and this is what we want to feed out there versus
let laughter be viral.
Yes, exactly. So this is, I think, what the awakening is happening in the world, that we're all realizing life can be so much fun and joyful, and you're such a representation. So do you want to do a little, do you have to stand up to do stand up?
No, well, the thing is, I do it sitting down, because for me the whole conversation is a sketch.
Beautiful. That is so true. Absolutely. Because so when you're going to the Fringe Festival, and let's just give people, just in case, because I didn't really say, so you're in the northern part of England?
Yes, I'm in the northeast coast, just we're the last big town before Scotland.
And so how far would it be from where you are to Edinburgh, where you're going to the Fringe Festival?
It's an hour and a half on the train.
Okay, so it's still, because for those of you that only know United Kingdom or Great Britain is a big island, but that's
whereas London is 2.5, 3 hours on the train. So to give you an idea.
Going south, for all you that don't know where London,
London is a long way south. Scotland is just north of us.
And okay, so, and that you're performing in July?
In August, at the end of August, at the Edinburgh Fringe. I've got some street spots booked, because I'm going to be busking on the street, and they give me some slots. I haven't got the dates yet, but I'll hopefully have them soon. Mm-hmm. But I'm seeing if I can get a show there as well. I've been told that they're looking for someone different for an event, so we will see. I mean, when I went to the comedy gig 2 weeks ago, everybody thought I was the organizer's mother, because A, I was female, and B, I was old enough to be their mother, because most of them were of an age. Mm-hmm. So maybe this makes me different.
Well, there's two personalities that come to my mind right now, and that I think Susan Boyle's story gave permission to people to say, go for your dreams at whatever age. And that's, I think, honestly what resonated inside of people with respect to that. But I also used to love Dame Edna.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, I mean, I feel that this is totally, you're in your zone now, or what I call following your divine positioning system, your inner guidance, and you're just going to flourish and blossom. And we're getting it right here first off.
Yeah. In fact, it was Britain's Got Talent inspired me to step up. And I thought, I want to audition. and I thought, okay, I want to audition, so I think I'd better get some sketches written and get some, so I am planning to audition.
Oh, wow, that's so exciting. Now,
Yeah, and
when does that occur? Does that like in the fall or next spring? When's the next?
the application's open now, but I think they're in next spring, for next spring. But I've committed, I go to a group called Damsels in Success.
Uh-huh.
And the main people say, what do you do there? And we, you know, we work in a spiritual way, but we help each other, we support each other, but not in a needy way.
Right.
The way we support each other, we sing, dance, and eat cake. Celebrate. And I committed to them this month that I would complete my application. I would make my application to Britain's Got Talent. So I've really gone public now.
You've gone public, exactly. This is so exciting. So for all those that are traveling to Edinburgh in August, you want to catch the Fringe Festival and look for Risaria for sure. And your website, just so at this point, is Risaria, risaria.co.uk.
That's right. Yes, risaria.co.uk. Yes.
So I would love you to share the dandelion one, since you made reference to it, because I really enjoyed that one. And you're just so funny.
Yes. Well, this was because I was lying on my front in the grass in my garden. And it was a sunny day. And I was just, oh, this is so great. And the dandelions, my garden was full of dandelions that were just, you know, so gold and dancing around. And my mind was thinking, I'm really glad I've got the excuse to leave the dandelions. They sent out an alert to leave your dandelions, not to get rid of them, because of the first flower that the bees can get pollen from. And I'm thinking, this is great. You know, I'm not only gardening in a lazy way, yeah, I'm actually saving the bees, helping the bees out.
Mm-hmm.
They're dancing around, and I thought, when you're down in that perspective in the grass, you can see things so differently. And these are like, the dandies are like wearing these great big gold rimmed hats. And I thought, they're like these ladies at weddings, you know, when you buy your big fancy wedding hat, and the moving their heads in the way you do to show them off. And the daisies are there as well, and they're like the little kids, the children running around at the wedding under the tables and, you know, hiding under the tablecloths. And there were also there's this plant called narrowleaf plantain. Now, it's not a very showy plant. It has a little brown seed head, but out of it, it has these tiny little flowers on stems, and they're like fascinators. I don't know if you know what a fascinator is. It's. Do you have a word in Canada?
No, well, in Canada, but explain it to our American audience that are listening.
Yeah, the headdresses that, well, I've never known men wear them, but women wear them, and often they have feathers or flowers, or sometimes kids have them with little sparkly things on, and they bob around the whole time. And so you've got the plantain, and these are the ones who are a bit more reserved, or maybe don't feel that they can have quite as showy as the dandelions.
Right.
So they're the women with the fascinators on, so they're feeling quite bold because they've got this little flirty thing bobbing around. And I thought, this is great. And we call these weeds. We call these weeds, and they're so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that my garden didn't just have dandelions and plantain and daisies in. It actually has a beautiful bush that I thought was a peony. And this day it opened up. Now a peony, I loved it because you said to me, a panini. And I thought, not quite. I could eat a panini, but I wouldn't eat a peony. Very bold, blousy flower, you know, sort of really huge blooms. I think they were brought from China to here. absolutely gorgeous, and they're like the Kim Kardashians of the garden. You know, they're sort of, they don't just say, does my bum look big in this? They go, I've got a huge bum, look at it, I'm throwing it out to the sunshine, and you can admire me. And so that was my time in the garden. Well, I hope that's a good sign that your laughter muscles are toning up.
It is, I mean, in some cases we've signed off with a little bit of a meditation, but I think this was an example of laughter is the best medicine. And if you can stay with this energy, then you're gonna have a fabulous day, because joy is the highest vibration, and that is just beautiful. And I love that you use everyday analogies, because this is the reframing that has to go on in the world, is to see things in joy.
Yeah.
You are awesome, and I am so looking forward to watching your expression in this universe, on this planet, just ripple and bring more joy to the world. So thank you so very much for being here.
I've loved it. Thank you so much. And as David Williams, one of the comedians who's on Britain's Got Talent, said, he said, what you need to do is a test of comedy is, did it make me laugh? Yeah. And it made you laugh. So I thought, job done.
Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.